A new sensibility towards subjective poetry. In the second half of the 18th century, a new sensibility emerged. A new generation of poets established new trends, but they did not lay down a precise program of rules. While the early 18th century poets had dealt with impersonal material with a loud and noble eloquence, the later poets tended to use subjective autobiographical material, moving towards the expression of a lyrical and personal experience of life. They were less intellectual than Augustan poets and more intimately emotional. The poetry at this time was essentially reflective. It dealt with experiences presented not for their immediate impact, but for generalized reflection. Many factors produced this change. The noisy activity of the industrial town was compared negatively with the simple serenity of the countryside. There was a growing interest in humble and everyday life in opposition to the elevated subjects of Augustan poetry. Related to this was an interest in melancholy, often associated with meditation on the suffering of the poor and on death. A new taste for the desolate, the love of ruins, graveyards, ancient castles and abbeys were part of a revival of interest in the past felt as a contrasting period to the present reality. A new concept of nature. There was also a revolution in the concept of nature. The classical view of nature as an abstract concept, as a set of divine laws and principles established by God, which man could order and control thanks to the faculty of reason, was slowly replaced by the view of a nature as a real and living being. The higher value placed on sensibility led to the need to elaborate a new aesthetic theory built on individual consciousness rather than on the imitation of the precepts of nature or the classics. The most remarkable work on the subject was Edmund Burke's A Philosophical Inquiry into the Origin of Our Ideas of the Sublime and Beautiful, in which he gave supremacy to the sublime over the beautiful among the qualities then thought to please the imagination. The sublime. The distinction between the beautiful and the sublime became a main theme of the 18th century aesthetics. For Burke, the sublime is whatever is fitted in any sort to excite the ideas of pain and danger, or operates in a manner analogous to terror. He argued that terror and pain are the strongest emotions and that there is an inherent pleasure in such feelings. Whatever provoked these emotions could be defined as sublime.